So this is the third in my series of videos looking at overwintered veggies that we're going to harvest in spring, and maybe some of them just slightly into summer now. And so in this one we're going to take a look at the alliums. So onions are a hugely important crop to us, and we had a bit of a disaster last year. We got sent the wrong variety of onions and loads of them went to seed, so we're a bit short of onions this year. We've only got a few dozen left, so we want them as soon as possible. So we've got some red winter in the polytunnel at the back there, and they're going to need to be harvested in kind of late April and early May, because they'll inevitably go to seed because they're so far on at this time of year. But of course we won't mind because we'll have eaten them by then. Some really nice tough ball, and again they're a nice bulbing onion, and again they're going to be harvested really early on before they go to seed. As we're finishing those onions in the polytunnel, we'll start to harvest some of these, which are kind of interplanted into my asparagus bed, and some of them might get pushed out by the asparagus, but that doesn't normally happen. And they don't really interfere with each other because the asparagus is growing really deep. You know, it's a really deep rooted plant. The onions are shallow rooted, and so they just, they work together really nicely. And of course the asparagus is being harvested every few days up until the middle of June, and by the middle of June all of these onions will have been harvested. Down the middle we've got more red winter, and then we've got a mix of Leela and Tough Ball, both bulbing onions there. They're looking really nice despite really cold weather in December and early January. Quite a few containers that I use for my courgettes, and so they're again ideal for planting onions. So again I've got some Tough Ball in here, red winter in here, and Tough Ball in there. And so I'm pretty happy with the fact that these are all going to be harvested in June, which is when I plant my courgettes. All of that is much use now. So right now we're harvesting onions from the store, and quite a nice selection still left over. As I said, they won't last us much beyond sort of late April at best probably. And so we've got loads of salad onions. This is the bed we're currently picking from. Next bed. Then I've got 3 successions of salad onions on the go there, and I do a tray a week, sometimes 2 trays a week depending on the month. So they're looking pretty good. I've got a few Tough Ball and Leela there, which are the ones we'll be harvesting in July. And I haven't even sown my main crop onions yet because it really need to be sown until February. So let's move on to garlic. So this is the early garlic. It's in the polytunnel. The interesting thing about early garlic is that it's not very far on really at this time of year. It doesn't really grow very rapidly over winter in the polytunnel. It's in between all these lettuces down here, but it's going to really grow really fast through spring and give me a harvest just about the time that I'm putting in, or just after the time that I'm putting in my tomatoes. And obviously I'll be interplanting in between it once I take these lettuces out. I can't remember how many I've got in here, but certainly enough to see us through until the main crop garlic's ready. So we've got a few hundred main crop garlic plants in. Some of it, or most of it, we tend to sort of interplant or plant around the edges of beds. So this is planted around the edge of what's currently the field bean bed, and here's an example of the garlic interplanted into a strawberry bed. And I've got masses of elephant garlic down here, which are just sort of let grow wild underneath these trees. And some of it we harvest like a leek in late spring once the main crop leeks are finished, and some of it we harvest for the bulbs. And we've got masses of leeks, main bed leeks like these, so try to interplant leeks down the edges of beds wherever I can find space. If you want more details of anything that I've talked about in this video, I recommend you take a look at my ebook. It's free to read. There's a link to it in the description down below, and in particular I recommend you take a look at the individual growing guide section, because that's where you want to get details on spinach and lettuce and all the different types of brassicas and, you know, Asian greens and whatever you're interested in. But if you've got the bigger picture, you know, you want to understand how to be self-sufficient, for example, or you're just new to gardening and you're interested in the basics of gardening, or you're an advanced sort of, you know, well-experienced gardener, you want a bit more details on advanced growing techniques, all of that you can find in the ebook as well. So if you're interested in that, take a look down below, and yeah, let me know what you think. So hope you like this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.